When people hear the words fat body, their mind immediately goes to appearance, clothes size, belly shape, or how someone looks in the mirror. But very few people stop to understand that a fat body is often not the real problem. It is only the visible sign of something much deeper going wrong inside. The human body is extremely intelligent, and it never does anything without reason. When fat starts accumulating, it is not just because of overeating or laziness. It is usually because the internal systems are struggling, confused, overloaded, or damaged. Fat becomes a storage signal, a coping mechanism, and a warning sign all at the same time. It is the body's way of saying that balance has been lost somewhere inside. Most people live their lives focusing only on what they can see. They check their weight, their waist size, their face in photos, but organs like the liver, pancreas, heart, gut, and hormones do their work silently. These organs do not shout when they're under stress. They slowly adapt, compromise, and weaken. Fat builds up during this process, quietly covering organs, entering muscles, blocking signals, and disturbing communication between systems. By the time symptoms appear, the internal damage has often been happening for years. This is why fat should never be taken lightly, because it is rarely just extra weight. It is evidence of an internal imbalance. A fat body often hides inflammation, and inflammation is one of the most dangerous enemies of long-term health. Chronic inflammation does not cause sharp pain, so people ignore it. It slowly damages blood vessels, organs, joints, and even brain cells. Excess fat tissue releases inflammatory chemicals every day, turning the body into a constant low-level battlefield. The immune system becomes confused, energy drops, healing slows down, and disease risk increases. This is not something you can see in the mirror, but it affects every moment of your life. Another truth people don't realize is that fat is not inactive. It behaves like an organ. It produces hormones, sends signals, and interferes with normal body communication. When fat increases beyond healthy limits, it starts controlling processes it was never meant to control. It affects insulin sensitivity, hunger signals, stress hormones, and reproductive hormones. This leads to constant hunger, cravings, fatigue, mood swings, and weight gain that feels impossible to control. People blame willpower, but the real issue is that the internal system is no longer functioning properly. A fat body also puts continuous pressure on vital organs. The heart works harder, pumping blood through a larger mass. Blood pressure rises, cholesterol balance gets disturbed, arteries begin to narrow. The liver struggles to manage fats and toxins. The pancreas struggles to regulate sugar. The gut struggles to digest and absorb nutrients efficiently. None of this happens overnight. It is a slow decline, and fat is both a result and a contributor to this decline. This is why someone can feel normal on the outside, but be extremely weak internally. One of the most dangerous misunderstandings is believing that if you are young, fat is harmless. Age does not protect internal systems from damage. In fact, gaining fat early in life means the organs have to survive under stress for a longer time. This increases the risk of early diabetes, heart disease, hormonal disorders, infertility, and mental health issues. Many people are shocked when health problems appear in their 30s or 40s, but the foundation was laid years earlier when fat was ignored as a cosmetic issue rather than a health signal. Mental and emotional health are also deeply connected to this problem. A fat body often comes with unstable blood sugar, hormonal imbalance, and inflammation, all of which affect the brain. Brain fog, anxiety, depression, low motivation, and irritability are not just psychological weaknesses, they are often biological responses to internal dysfunction. When the body is under constant stress, the mind suffers as well. This creates a vicious cycle where stress leads to more fat, and more fat leads to more stress. It is important to understand that this conversation is not about blaming or shaming anyone. Fat is not a moral failure. It is feedback. It reflects how modern life has disconnected us from natural rhythms. Processed food, excess sugar, poor sleep, emotional eating, long sitting hours, constant stress, and lack of movement all weaken internal systems. The body stores fat as protection because it does not feel safe, balanced, or supported. When the internal environment improves, the need for excess fat naturally decreases. Many people chase weight loss without understanding this reality. They starve themselves, follow extreme diets, over-exercise, and use shortcuts. This may reduce weight temporarily, but it often weakens internal systems even more. Hormones crash, metabolism slows down, energy disappears, and fat returns stronger than before. This is why focusing only on fat loss fails again and again. The real goal should be internal strength, not just a smaller body. When internal systems begin to heal, everything changes. The liver processes fats better, insulin works efficiently, hormones stabilize, inflammation reduces, energy returns, sleep improves, hunger becomes normal, fat starts reducing without constant struggle. This is the body returning to balance, not being forced into it. True health is not about fighting your body, it's about cooperating with it. A fat body is not the enemy. Ignoring the message behind it is. When you understand that fat is a signal of internal weakness, you stop chasing appearance and start building health. You stop punishing your body and start supporting it. You shift from quick fixes to long-term habits. You move from frustration to clarity. This mindset change alone can transform how you approach food, movement, rest, and stress. Real fitness is invisible first. It shows up as stable energy, clear thinking, strong digestion, balanced emotions, and resilience against illness. Physical shape follows later. When people focus only on looks, they miss the real purpose of health, which is to make life stronger, longer, and more functional. A lean body with weak organs is not success. A body that functions well internally, even if imperfect externally, is true progress. Understanding this truth can save years of struggle and regret. It can prevent diseases before they appear. It can improve quality of life without obsession. Once you realize that a fat body is a warning sign and not the core issue, your entire approach to health changes. You stop asking how fast you can lose weight and start asking how deeply you can heal your body from the inside.
Excess body fat is often misunderstood as something that simply sits on the body and adds weight, but in reality, it behaves like a harmful force that slowly interferes with almost every vital system inside. Fat does not stay limited to the surface of the body. It moves inward, surrounds organs, enters tissues, and changes the way the body communicates with itself. When fat increases beyond a healthy level, it begins to damage the liver, heart, pancreas, hormones, and immune system at the same time, creating a chain reaction that weakens overall health without making much noise in the beginning. One of the first organs to suffer is the liver. The liver is responsible for processing fats, managing sugar, detoxifying the blood, and supporting digestion and hormone balance. When excess fat starts accumulating around and inside the liver, it becomes overloaded. A fatty liver struggles to perform its functions efficiently. Toxins are cleared more slowly, fat metabolism becomes poor, and blood sugar regulation weakens. This leads to fatigue, weight gain, hormonal disturbances, and digestive discomfort. The most dangerous part is that fatty liver often develops without pain, so people remain unaware while the damage continues silently. The heart is another major victim of excess body fat. As body fat increases, the heart is forced to work harder to pump blood through a larger and heavier system. Blood pressure gradually rises, and fat-related inflammation damages blood vessels. Excess fat also disrupts cholesterol balance by increasing bad cholesterol and reducing good cholesterol. Over time, arteries begin to narrow and stiffen, restricting blood flow. This increases the risk of heart attacks and strokes, which often appear sudden but are actually the result of years of internal damage caused by excess fat. The pancreas plays a critical role in controlling blood sugar, and excess fat directly interferes with this function. When fat builds up in muscles and organs, cells become resistant to insulin. This means sugar cannot enter cells easily and stays in the bloodstream. The pancreas responds by producing more insulin, which puts it under constant strain. Eventually, this system begins to fail, leading to type 2 diabetes. Diabetes then damages nerves, kidneys, eyes, and the heart, turning one internal weakness into multiple serious health problems. Hormonal balance is deeply affected by excess fat. Fat tissue produces and alters hormones, especially those related to hunger, stress, and reproduction. In men, excess fat reduces testosterone levels, leading to low energy, muscle loss, mood changes, and fertility issues. In women, it can disrupt estrogen balance, causing irregular menstrual cycles, PCOS, fertility problems, and thyroid disturbances. Hormonal imbalance also increases cravings, emotional eating, and fatigue, making fat loss even harder and trapping people in a cycle of frustration. The immune system also becomes weaker in the presence of excess fat. Chronic inflammation caused by fat tissue keeps the immune system constantly active, which reduces its ability to respond effectively to real threats like infections and injuries. Healing becomes slower, illnesses last longer, and the body becomes more vulnerable to disease. This low-grade inflammation quietly damages tissues and organs over time, increasing the risk of autoimmune conditions and long-term health complications. Excess fat also affects the gut, which plays a central role in overall health. A stressed digestive system struggles to absorb nutrients properly, even when food intake is high. This leads to nutritional deficiencies that further weaken internal systems. Poor gut health also increases inflammation and affects brain function, contributing to mood disorders and mental fatigue. The connection between fat, gut health, and mental well-being is strong, yet often ignored. Energy levels drop significantly when internal systems are under stress. Many people with excess fat feel constantly tired, unmotivated, and mentally foggy. This is not due to laziness, but to poor energy production at the cellular level. When insulin resistance, inflammation, and hormonal imbalance exist together, the body struggles to produce and use energy efficiently. Daily tasks begin to feel exhausting, and physical activity becomes harder, which leads to even more fat gain. Mental health suffers alongside physical health. Inflammation affects the brain, blood sugar fluctuations affect mood, and hormonal imbalances affect emotional stability. Anxiety, depression, low confidence, and lack of focus often appear as secondary effects of internal dysfunction. The most damaging part of this process is how slowly it happens. Excess fat does not cause immediate collapse. It weakens systems gradually, allowing people to adapt and normalize poor health. By the time clear symptoms appear, multiple organs are already affected. This makes recovery more difficult and increases dependence on medication rather than lifestyle correction. Understanding this reality changes the entire approach to health. Excess fat is not just an aesthetic issue, it is a biological stressor that disrupts nearly every system in the body. Removing fat without healing the organs does not solve the problem. The focus must shift towards restoring internal balance, reducing inflammation, improving insulin sensitivity, supporting hormonal health, and strengthening immunity. When internal systems begin to recover, the body naturally moves towards a healthier weight. The liver processes fats efficiently, the heart works with less strain, blood sugar stabilizes, hormones balance, and the immune system becomes resilient again. Fat loss becomes the result of internal healing, not forced restriction. This is the only sustainable way to protect long-term health and prevent lifestyle diseases that silently develop under the surface when excess fat is ignored.
Most people believe that diseases like diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, hormonal disorders, and mental health issues appear suddenly, as if one day the body was fine and the next day everything went wrong. But the truth is far more gradual and far more silent. These conditions do not begin with dramatic symptoms or obvious pain. They start quietly, deep inside the body, while life continues as normal. People go to work, eat, sleep, laugh, and assume they are healthy simply because nothing hurts. Meanwhile, internal systems are slowly losing balance, and excess fat, poor lifestyle habits, and chronic stress quietly push the body toward disease. The human body is designed to adapt. When it faces repeated stress from poor diet, excess sugar, lack of movement, poor sleep, and emotional pressure, it adjusts in ways that allow survival. Blood sugar stays slightly high, but not enough to cause symptoms. Blood pressure rises a little, but not enough to feel dangerous. Hormones fluctuate, but not enough to stop daily functioning. These small changes are easy to ignore, and that is why lifestyle diseases are so dangerous. They hide behind normal routines, giving people a false sense of safety while internal damage continues. One of the biggest misunderstandings is the idea that absence of pain means absence of disease. Many internal organs do not have pain receptors in the early stages of damage. The liver can become fatty without causing discomfort. Arteries can narrow without causing pain. Blood sugar can remain elevated for years without obvious signs. Hormonal imbalance can slowly alter mood, energy, and metabolism without clear warning signals. By the time pain or serious symptoms appear, the disease is already well established, not new. Fat plays a central role in this silent process. Excess fat increases inflammation, disrupts insulin function, and interferes with hormonal balance. These changes do not cause immediate illness, but they create an environment where disease slowly develops. The body compensates for as long as it can. The pancreas produces more insulin. The heart works harder. The liver stores more fat. Hormones adjust their signals. Eventually, compensation fails, and that is when a diagnosis is given. People are often shocked, but the body has been struggling for years. Diabetes is a perfect example of this slow progression. Blood sugar does not suddenly become high overnight. Insulin resistance develops gradually. Cells stop responding efficiently to insulin. The pancreas increases insulin production to keep sugar under control. This can continue for years without noticeable symptoms. During this time, damage is happening to blood vessels, nerves, and organs. When diabetes is finally diagnosed, the disease is already well established, not new. Heart disease follows a similar pattern. Cholesterol imbalance, inflammation, and high blood pressure develop slowly. Arteries narrow little by little. The heart adapts by pumping harder. There is no pain, no warning, no clear sign that danger is building. Then, one day, a heart attack or stroke occurs, and it feels sudden. In reality, it was the result of silent damage accumulating over decades. Hormonal disorders also begin quietly. Stress hormones remain elevated, insulin resistance affects reproductive hormones, fat tissue alters estrogen and testosterone levels, sleep disruption affects cortisol and growth hormone. These changes slowly affect mood, energy, weight, fertility, and mental clarity. People often blame aging, stress, or bad luck without realizing that internal balance has been lost over time. Mental health issues are deeply connected to this silent progression. Inflammation affects brain chemistry. Blood sugar fluctuations affect mood and concentration. Hormonal imbalance affects emotional regulation.
Anxiety, depression, brain fog, and low motivation often appear as early signs of internal dysfunction, but they are rarely recognized as such. Instead of addressing root causes, people treat symptoms while the underlying issues continue to grow. Another reason these diseases remain hidden is normalization. When everyone around you is tired, stressed, overweight, and struggling with health, it feels normal. Low energy becomes accepted, poor sleep becomes routine, digestive issues become common. This collective normalization of dysfunction allows diseases to develop unnoticed. People compare themselves to others instead of to true health. Modern medicine often detects disease only when numbers cross a certain threshold. Blood sugar, cholesterol, and blood pressure are labeled normal until they are not. But damage does not wait for numbers to become abnormal. It begins much earlier. The body does not operate in black and white. It moves gradually from balance to imbalance. Waiting for a diagnosis means waiting until internal systems are already compromised. The tragedy is that most of these conditions are preventable and even reversible in early stages. When internal health is supported, inflammation reduces, insulin sensitivity improves, hormones rebalance, and organs recover. But prevention requires awareness. It requires understanding that feeling okay does not always mean being healthy. It requires paying attention to early signs like fatigue, weight gain, cravings, poor sleep, mood changes, and digestive discomfort. The belief that disease happens suddenly creates complacency. People delay lifestyle changes because they feel fine. They assume they have time. But time is exactly what silent diseases take away. Every year of imbalance makes recovery harder. Every ignored signal allows damage to deepen. The body is patient, but it is not unlimited. Recognizing the silent nature of lifestyle diseases is empowering, not frightening. It means you are not a victim of sudden illness. It means you have control earlier than you think. By addressing internal health before symptoms become severe, you protect your future. You strengthen your body's resilience. You shift from reactive treatment to proactive care. When you understand that disease begins quietly, you stop waiting for warnings and start listening to subtle signals. You stop chasing quick fixes and start building long-term health. You realize that true wellness is not about avoiding pain today, but about preventing breakdown tomorrow. This awareness alone can change the course of your health and help you avoid conditions that seem sudden but are actually years in the making.
True health and sustainable fat loss are often misunderstood because most people are taught to chase quick results instead of lasting balance. Everywhere you look, there are promises of rapid weight loss, extreme diets, intense workout plans, and miracle solutions that claim to melt fat fast. People try them with hope and desperation, and sometimes they do see short-term changes. But what almost always follows is frustration, exhaustion, and rebound weight gain. The reason this cycle keeps repeating is simple. Fat is not the core problem, it is a symptom. Until the internal system is healed, fat loss will always be temporary, unstable, and stressful. The human body is designed to protect itself, not to become lean at any cost. When internal health is weak, when organs are under stress, when hormones are imbalanced, and when inflammation is high, the body holds on to fat as a survival strategy. Fat becomes a safety net. It stores energy, buffers toxins, and helps the body cope with instability. When someone tries to force fat loss without fixing these internal issues, the body feels threatened. Metabolism slows down, hunger increases, energy drops, and cravings become intense. This is not failure of willpower, it is the body defending itself. Sustainable fat loss begins only when the body feels safe again. Safety comes from consistent nourishment, stable blood sugar, proper rest, regular movement, and manageable stress. When the liver starts functioning efficiently, it processes fats and toxins better. When insulin sensitivity improves, sugar enters cells properly and stops circulating in the blood. When hormones balance, hunger signals normalize and emotional eating reduces. When inflammation decreases, the body no longer stays in emergency mode. Fat loss then becomes a natural response, not a forced outcome. Extreme diets often do the opposite of healing. Severe calorie restriction deprives the body of nutrients it needs to repair organs and regulate hormones. Cutting entire food groups without understanding individual needs can increase stress hormones and disrupt digestion. Overexercising without adequate recovery raises cortisol levels, which promotes fat storage, especially around the abdomen. These approaches may reduce weight on the scale, but internally they often increase weakness, making long-term health worse instead of better. Healing the internal system requires patience and respect for the body's signals. Eating real, nutrient-dense food supports organ function and reduces inflammation. Adequate protein helps repair tissues and balance hormones. Healthy fats support brain function and hormone production. Fiber improves gut health and blood sugar stability. These are not trendy ideas, they are biological necessities. When the body receives what it needs consistently, it stops panicking and starts letting go of excess fat. Sleep plays a massive role in this process. Poor sleep disrupts hunger hormones, increases insulin resistance, and raises stress levels. A tired body is a stressed body, and a stressed body resists fat loss. Rest is not laziness, it is repair. Deep sleep is when hormones reset, tissues heal, and the nervous system calms down. Without proper sleep, even the best diet and exercise plan struggles to work. Movement is another key part of internal healing, but it does not have to be extreme. The body responds best to regular, enjoyable movement that improves circulation, strengthens muscles, and reduces stress. Walking, strength training, stretching, and light cardio all support insulin sensitivity and hormonal balance. Movement tells the body that it is strong and capable, not threatened. This message encourages fat release rather than fat storage. Stress management is often ignored, yet it may be one of the most important factors in sustainable fat loss. Chronic stress keeps cortisol elevated, which directly promotes fat accumulation and muscle breakdown. Emotional stress also drives overeating and poor food choices. Learning to slow down, breathe, disconnect, and create mental space allows the nervous system to recover. A calm nervous system supports digestion, hormone balance, and metabolic health. Consistency matters more than intensity. Small daily habits practiced over time heal the body far more effectively than extreme efforts done occasionally. Drinking enough water, eating balanced meals, sleeping on time, moving daily, and managing stress may seem simple, but their combined effect is powerful. These habits rebuild trust between you and your body. When the body trusts you, it stops holding on to fat so tightly. One of the most important mindset shifts is understanding that fat loss should be a side effect, not the main goal. When the focus is only on weight, people ignore how they feel, how they sleep, how they digest, and how they cope with stress. When the focus shifts to internal health, weight becomes just one of many positive changes. Energy improves, mood stabilizes, digestion becomes smoother, and strength increases. Fat loss follows quietly in the background. Healing the internal system also creates freedom from constant dieting. Food stops being the enemy. Exercise stops being punishment. Health becomes something you build, not something you chase. This approach protects you from burnout and helps you maintain results long term. It turns health into a lifestyle instead of a temporary project. When internal systems are strong, the body naturally moves toward balance. It releases what it no longer needs and keeps what supports survival. Sustainable fat loss is not about control, it's about cooperation. It is the result of giving your body what it needs consistently and allowing it to respond in its own intelligent way. This is why true health always starts from the inside, and why fat loss, when done right, feels less like a battle and more like a natural return to balance. Real fitness is often misunderstood because most people judge it by what they can see: visible muscles, low body fat, or a certain body shape. But the truth is that real fitness begins in places no mirror can show. It begins in how efficiently your organs work, how stable your energy is, how well your body handles stress, and how balanced your internal systems remain throughout the day. A body can look strong on the outside and still be weak inside, struggling with poor digestion, unstable blood sugar, hormonal imbalance, chronic inflammation, and constant fatigue. That kind of fitness is fragile, and it does not last. Internal strength is the foundation of every healthy body. When the heart functions efficiently, blood flows smoothly and delivers oxygen and nutrients where they're needed. When the liver is strong, it manages fats, sugars, and toxins without overload. When the pancreas responds properly to insulin needs, energy remains stable instead of crashing. When the gut absorbs nutrients well, the body is nourished at a deep level. When hormones are balanced, mood, metabolism, sleep, and motivation stay steady. This is real fitness: quiet, reliable, and resilient. Many people chase external fitness first, pushing their bodies hard while ignoring internal signals. They train intensely despite poor sleep, eat aggressively low-calorie diets despite constant fatigue, and ignore stress while demanding more performance. At first, the body adapts because it is designed to survive pressure, but adaptation has limits. Over time, internal systems become exhausted, injuries appear, hormones crash, immunity weakens, and fat loss stalls or reverses. This is why so many people look fit for a short period and then burn out completely. Internal strength is the foundation of every healthy body. When the heart functions efficiently, blood flows smoothly and delivers oxygen and nutrients where they're needed. When the liver is strong, it manages fats, sugars, and toxins without overload. When the pancreas responds properly to insulin needs, energy remains stable instead of crashing. When the gut absorbs nutrients well, the body is nourished at a deep level. When hormones are balanced, mood, metabolism, sleep, and motivation stay steady. This is real fitness: quiet, reliable, and resilient. Many people chase external fitness first, pushing their bodies hard while ignoring internal signals. They train intensely despite poor sleep, eat aggressively low-calorie diets despite constant fatigue, and ignore stress while demanding more performance. At first, the body adapts because it is designed to survive pressure, but adaptation has limits. Over time, internal systems become exhausted, injuries appear, hormones crash, immunity weakens, and fat loss stalls or reverses. This is why so many people look fit for a short period and then burn out completely. Internal strength is the foundation of every healthy body. When the heart functions efficiently, blood flows smoothly and delivers oxygen and nutrients where they're needed. When the liver is strong, it manages fats, sugars, and toxins without overload. When the pancreas responds properly to insulin needs, energy remains stable instead of crashing. When the gut absorbs nutrients well, the body is nourished at a deep level. When hormones are balanced, mood, metabolism, sleep, and motivation stay steady. This is real fitness: quiet, reliable, and resilient. Many people chase external fitness first, pushing their bodies hard while ignoring internal signals. They train intensely despite poor sleep, eat aggressively low-calorie diets despite constant fatigue, and ignore stress while demanding more performance. At first, the body adapts because it is designed to survive pressure, but adaptation has limits. Over time, internal systems become exhausted, injuries appear, hormones crash, immunity weakens, and fat loss stalls or reverses. This is why so many people look fit for a short period and then burn out completely. Internal strength is the foundation of every healthy body. When the heart functions efficiently, blood flows smoothly and delivers oxygen and nutrients where they're needed. When the liver is strong, it manages fats, sugars, and toxins without overload. When the pancreas responds properly to insulin needs, energy remains stable instead of crashing. When the gut absorbs nutrients well, the body is nourished at a deep level. When hormones are balanced, mood, metabolism, sleep, and motivation stay steady. This is real fitness, quiet, reliable, and resilient. Many people chase external fitness first, pushing their bodies hard while ignoring internal signals. They train intensely despite poor sleep, eat aggressively low-calorie diets despite constant fatigue, and ignore stress while demanding more performance. At first, the body adapts because it is designed to survive pressure, but adaptation has limits. Over time, internal systems become exhausted, injuries appear, hormones crash, immunity weakens, and fat loss stalls or reverses. This is why so many people look fit for a short period and then burn out completely. Internal strength is the foundation of every healthy body. When the heart functions efficiently, blood flows smoothly and delivers oxygen and nutrients where they're needed. When the liver is strong, it manages fats, sugars, and toxins without overload. When the pancreas responds properly to insulin needs, energy remains stable instead of crashing. When the gut absorbs nutrients well, the body is nourished at a deep level. When hormones are balanced, mood, metabolism, sleep, and motivation stay steady. This is real fitness, quiet, reliable, and resilient. Many people chase external fitness first, pushing their bodies hard while ignoring internal signals. They train intensely despite poor sleep, eat aggressively low-calorie diets despite constant fatigue, and ignore stress while demanding more performance. At first, the body adapts because it is designed to survive pressure, but adaptation has limits. Over time, internal systems become exhausted, injuries appear, hormones crash, immunity weakens, and fat loss stalls or reverses. This is why so many people look fit for a short period and then burn out completely. Internal strength is the foundation of every healthy body. When the heart functions efficiently, blood flows smoothly and delivers oxygen and nutrients where they're needed. When the liver is strong, it manages fats, sugars, and toxins without overload. When the pancreas responds properly to insulin needs, energy remains stable instead of crashing. When the gut absorbs nutrients well, the body is nourished at a deep level. When hormones are balanced, mood, metabolism, sleep, and motivation stay steady. This is real fitness, quiet, reliable, and resilient. Many people chase external fitness first, pushing their bodies hard while ignoring internal signals. They train intensely despite poor sleep, eat aggressively low-calorie diets despite constant fatigue, and ignore stress while demanding more performance. At first, the body adapts because it is designed to survive pressure, but adaptation has limits. Over time, internal systems become exhausted, injuries appear, hormones crash, immunity weakens, and fat loss stalls or reverses. This is why so many people look fit for a short period and then burn out completely. Internal strength is the foundation of every healthy body. When the heart functions efficiently, blood flows smoothly and delivers oxygen and nutrients where they're needed. When the liver is strong, it manages fats, sugars, and toxins without overload. When the pancreas responds properly to insulin needs, energy remains stable instead of crashing. When the gut absorbs nutrients well, the body is nourished at a deep level. When hormones are balanced, mood, metabolism, sleep, and motivation stay steady. This is real fitness, quiet, reliable, and resilient.
Many people chase external fitness first, pushing their bodies hard while ignoring internal signals. They train intensely despite poor sleep, eat aggressively low-calorie diets despite constant fatigue, and ignore stress while demanding more performance. At first, the body adapts because it is designed to survive pressure, but adaptation has limits. Over time, internal systems become exhausted, injuries appear, hormones crash, immunity weakens, and fat loss stalls or reverses. This is why so many people look fit for a short period and then burn out completely. Internal strength is the foundation of every healthy body. When the heart functions efficiently, blood flows smoothly and delivers oxygen and nutrients where they're needed. When the liver is strong, it manages fats, sugars, and toxins without overload. When the pancreas responds properly to insulin needs, energy remains stable instead of crashing.
When the liver is strong, it manages fats, sugars, and toxins without overload, allowing the body to stay balanced instead of stressed. When the pancreas responds properly to insulin, energy remains steady instead of rising and crashing throughout the day. When the gut digests and absorbs nutrients efficiently, the body is actually nourished, not just full. When hormones are balanced, hunger makes sense, sleep improves, mood stabilizes, and motivation returns naturally. This is what real fitness looks like from the inside. A body like this does not need to fight for fat loss. It does not panic. It does not cling to extra weight for survival. It feels safe, supported, and stable. And when the body feels safe, it slowly lets go of what it no longer needs. Fat loss becomes a side effect, not a constant struggle. Energy improves, recovery becomes faster, strength builds without exhaustion. This is why chasing only the outer look never lasts. You can force the body for a while, push harder, eat less, train more, and look fit temporarily. But if the internal systems are weak, the body will eventually push back. Progress will slow down, fat will return, motivation will disappear, burnout will take over. The problem was never effort, the problem was direction. Real fitness is built when the focus shifts inward, when the goal becomes better sleep instead of just fewer calories, when movement is used to support the body instead of punish it, when food is chosen to nourish organs, not just to control weight, when stress is managed instead of ignored. These changes may not look dramatic at first, but they create a body that works better every single day. Over time, this internal strength shows on the outside as well. Posture improves, energy shows on the face, confidence becomes natural, not forced. The body looks capable because it is capable, not because it was pushed, but because it was supported. This is the kind of fitness that lasts, because it is built on health, not pressure.